So, so a lot is happening. I'm looking around the NBA, and I had intentions of talking about a particular subject. Happened to go on to Facebook and then saw something that was crazy. Hopped on another forum and then saw something else that was crazy. So let's just start with what I think is not really happening. Some source that I didn't trust wording this as if it's imminent, even though there's nothing anywhere else I can find on this, was essentially saying that there's a reason. It's reasonable to. I'll say it like that. That it would be reasonable to trade um, for Carl Anthony Towns if you're the Phoenix Suns. The way they had it set up is that they would give away a pick, they would give away um, DeAndre Ayton, they would give up, I think it was Dario Saric or something like that, and would only be bringing back Carl Towns. I blocked that source. I blocked him. Put it like that. That's not happening. That's a stupid trade. That's not anything I've heard anything else about. So it's false, in my opinion. If something like that does happen, uh, it would blow me away, and I would think that Phoenix took a lot of steps backwards. I like Carl Towns, but what makes Aiton special is the fact that he's in so much better shape and moves so much better than most of the bigs that are out there. Carl Towns does not. He's more skilled and he can certainly stretch the floor more. So I would say he's more talented. But if I have Aiton on my team, I'm not looking to move him. I'm looking to pay him. So uh, that didn't seem reasonable to me. That sounded crazy to me, and so on and so forth. Now the next situation is a Woj bomb. Basically, the Heat are trying to work out a trade to where they would give up Precious Achua and and another player. Who else was it that they were trying to give up? It was Precious Achua and Goran Dragic in a sign and trade to the Toronto Raptors for Kyle Lowry in a sign and trade. So that's interesting to me. Kyle Lowry has been, over the last couple hours, it's been said that Kyle Lowry's number one suitor is the Miami Heat. I like it. It makes sense. The skill set that he has, coupled with what the team already is, uh, where he is in his career, given that they have a lot of guards that can kind of have a lot of insurance for him. They have plenty of shooting that'll make it so that he'll have opportunities to set up for other shooters. You have Bam Adebayo in there. You got Andre Drummond in there. And it sounds like they may be getting DeMar DeRozan. So the Heat are putting together something really, really, really intense. I hate the fact that they're giving up Precious Achua. I hate that. Not gonna lie to you, I hate that. But it seems like they're trying to build a very super team, like a very super team. So as of right now, we're gonna keep an eye on the Heat. I don't know if they're gonna get DeRozan. I know he wants to be a Laker. I know Dallas is willing to pay him. I don't know that Miami has the cap space to give him anything more than maybe we would or someone else. I don't know, especially with what they're putting together. But keep an eye on Victor Oladipo. As I mentioned earlier, it kind of just makes sense to move on from him, especially if you're bringing in all of this. Um, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan. I mean, how much do you need? What role do you have for a lot of these guys? Is what I would say to Miami. It looks like they're gonna let a guy like Kendrick Nunn leave, so that makes sense if they do. So we'll see how their roster forms. They are definitely getting older, but they're still young in some very key areas. So we'll see what they're doing. Looks like they're going after it though. Looks like the way the Miami Heat are looking at it is they want to utilize Jimmy Butler's prime and keep Bam Adebayo happy and contend. They got a taste of the finals last year. We know this is a team that's won several championships. They want to contend, and it's still kind of hard for me to figure out what exactly their vision is just now. But we're seeing it form, and it looks like it's going to be something big. So, yeah, that's what I want to say about them. And speaking of the Kyle Lowry, I guess that brings me to the topic that I initially wanted to talk about, which was the Pelicans and Lonzo Ball going to the Bulls possibly, and what all of this means for the Lakers. Possibilities of maybe getting Dennis Schroeder involved, in possibly a trade somewhere. So here's the deal, and this is a lot of moving parts. Lonzo Ball is a player that the New Orleans Pelicans want to give up on so that they can have a chance to get Kyle Lowry. But Kyle Lowry's going to Miami. That looks like that's all but going to happen. Unless a massive overpay were to occur, which is what I was also aware of. Something that was also said in one of the things I was paying attention to. So, unless the Pelicans are willing to play Kyle Lowry an absorbent amount of money, as to which it looks like it's probably not going to happen because it looks like Kyle Lowry's headed to Miami, then the Pelicans have to figure out what they're going to do with Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, they say, is done with New Orleans. Like, if he has a choice, he got his eyes on the Chicago Bulls, and they want him. So, New Orleans is now left without really a point guard if they don't match Lonzo's offer. So if they're moving on from Lonzo, he definitely wants to be in Chicago. I can totally see them maybe working out a sign and trade of some sort. Try to facilitate him to Chicago if they're not going to match. It makes all the sense in the world. Rather than to have him sign some offer sheet that you're not going to match and lose him for nothing. Sign him to a qualifying offer and trade him like what I don't know if that's possible when a player is restricted, though. That's the thing. So I'm not sure. But the point is, the Pelicans' situation with their point guard is looking kind of tricky. They traded away Eric Bledsoe, even though he's not the greatest point guard. But now they're looking at maybe using some cash to get a guy that maybe they have to overpay for that isn't who they love. My thing is this. Would they be interested in taking Dennis Schroeder? And if so, would there be a way for them to do a sign and trade with Lonzo Ball going to Chicago, and maybe the Lakers taking back some of that salary in regards to Dennis Schroeder going to the Pelicans, maybe sweeten the deal somehow, and we can get back Kobe White. And the reason why I say us get back Kobe White, because I look at Chicago, I say, okay, they're bringing in Derrick Rose. They're letting Archie, I'm not sure how to say his name, but he's another point guard. They're letting him walk. Looks like Satoransky's going to probably walk. But they're bringing in Derrick Rose and Lonzo Ball, who are ball-dominant players. Where does Kobe White fit in? He's definitely not a point guard. He's a shoot-first guard who specializes shooting from behind the arc. Very, very inconsistent, but a lot of high upside ability. A very, very high ceiling for being a score-first guard. He needs a fresh spot. He needs a fresh start. The Lakers have the role for him. And I think he's still on a rookie contract. Now, I don't know if we would be able to pry him away from Chicago, but I think Chicago's kind of tired of him, being that they're bringing in all these guards. It stands to reason why he no longer fits on the team in theory. That doesn't mean he doesn't fit on the team. It just means he doesn't fit on the team in theory. That they could play him at the shooting guard position if Satoransky is indeed leaving, the Archie gentleman, his name, if he's leaving. If that situation is going that way, maybe they do have a role for him that I'm just not envisioning in my head. It looks like a lot of people are going to be leaving Chicago. They did give a qualifying offer to Markkanen. I don't know if he would be involved in such a sign and trade. I think he would be a great player for us. And so I'm looking at it that way. I'm just wondering what's going to happen. You know, that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, this Kyle Lowry situation, him going to Miami, that throws a real monkey wrench in things that are going on with the New Orleans Pelicans. Are they going to want to pay a guy like TJ McConnell? Because if the situation with Ball is done and they're in agreement, they're moving on, are they going to just go without paying a point guard, maybe go in a different direction, and then, play one of the guys that they have on their bench? I know they have a young player that they drafted in the first round last year who plays the point guard, real speedy dude. Maybe they want to give him an opportunity to start. I don't know if he's ready for that, but throwing young players in the fire sometimes does work. So all I'm saying is New Orleans would be wise not to overpay for a point guard. They don't have to do that. You know, we've watched teams give money to players they shouldn't give money to, and it end up being a situation where they just don't get any better and they end up caught with bad contracts. I would caution New Orleans to not do that. Now, as far as what I'm proposing, I don't even know if it's possible. But if they're not going to bring back Lonzo Ball, I don't know if they're going to bring back a guy like Kobe White themselves because he doesn't really fit on the team. They need a facilitator, which is why it stands the reason why they wouldn't let go of Lonzo Ball if they can't bring Kyle Lowry in. So, which I think they're not. Maybe after all of this, they just keep Lonzo. They match for it. And if that's the case, that puts Chicago in a bad spot. So they're going to need to try to figure out if they want to bring in a TJ McConnell or several other point guards that are available out there. Chris Paul. I don't know what's going on, but he opted out of his deal. Keep an eye on him. Now he's a player. So it's a lot. Who knows what's about to happen? But what I do know is that Lonzo Ball and Chicago basically have an agreement that he can sign on the 6th, I believe. So that's what I know. Now, if New Orleans matches, something spooky could happen. If New Orleans matches that Lonzo Ball contract, you could see a trade or some type of weird movement that nobody's expecting take place. Because Chicago, I just wonder if they're going to be willing to just go into the season, run it back with just Derrick Rose and Kobe White when they got a bunch of money to pay somebody. I don't see them doing that. I can see a world where they overpay for Chris Paul and he ends up in Chicago trying to run it back with a bunch of young kids. Him opting out is so weird to me, man. I don't know what's going on there. And they do have to pay campaign too. Maybe he returns to Chicago. It's a million different things that can happen there. So, yeah, man. Yeah, it's a lot. This is one of the best off seasons in terms of movement that I've seen in a while. I think most teams just believe they have a chance to go after it. I really do believe that. They saw Phoenix and Milwaukee in the finals. And even though all these super teams are being put together, they're not sturdy. I hate to say it, but one or two injuries can send a lot of these teams, including mine, to your left. And a lot of these teams know they have young cores. Like, all they really need is a star. All they really need is one or two guys kind of instill a certain level of championship play into their roster, and they can go into a different direction. Look at a team like Dallas. They get the right piece down there, and this is a wrap. They could be contenders for a championship. So I think many teams feel that way, and they're going after it. A team like Miami, they want to compete. So exciting times, y'all. My name's BDA44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.